This is Luke from Joy 96.5, and I am here with Mindy. And Mindy, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and what your role is here at 12 Neighbors.
Hey, sounds good. So I'm Mindy Foster, and I started at 12 Neighbors only about 6 short months ago. My role is the director of Neighbourly Ventures,
Hmm.
and Neighbourly Ventures has a mandate to provide purpose for our residents
Hmm.
and also for youth in Greater Fredericton.
Awesome.
So we are working to help folks find what it is that sets them afire, help them understand what they're good at, what their passion is, and to help facilitate those passions.
Okay. Now, we're sitting in the Neighborly Ventures shop, which is filled with all kinds of different artisan goods. There's clothing that's screen printed here on site. There's roots and woodworking that are hand chosen and stained and shaped into objects. There's woodworking in a more traditional sense that's cut and painted and decorated. There's stickers and jewelry, and I could name like 10 other things. So why don't you talk a little bit about this shop and what it represents?
Yeah. So the residents who are crafty
Hmm.
and that enjoy making things have the opportunity to work with us in coming up with prototypes of
Hmm.
things that they would like to sell in the store. And then myself and the team help them to make those dreams a reality. So
Awesome.
we're providing them with the tools, the skill building, the resources for them to carry out their projects.
Right.
And then they're able to sell those projects here in the store.
Nice.
And then people like you can come in here and support their efforts.
Mhm.
And it is something that when you're in here in the store and you witness someone coming in and buying one of the residents' things, it's absolutely transformational.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely transformational.
Yes. I'm a personal owner of a few Suddenly Susan Creation.
Yes.
And I think I bought a few things from Petra as well. And
Yes.
she's made some very creative things. So
Yeah.
I love it. I'm always in here because there's always something new to see.
There is always something new. So, and that's basically part of our job is to keep them thinking, keep them longing for making more things. The more that they immerse themselves in the craft, the more they come alive. And the more they come alive, the better they feel about themselves.
Right.
And then, of course, on top of that, they're making commission sales on what they're putting here in the store.
Yeah.
So we're simulating a business
Right.
planning and execution where we help them understand what they have for resources to start a business, to be realistic with them, what they need for tools, do they need to learn new skills?
Yeah.
And then we set that all in place for them. And then as a result, they come to us and say, okay, I have this idea. And then we work with them to refine the idea. Sometimes it's, shelf ready. Sometimes we want to direct them a little bit, help them refine. And then sometimes you find out you don't know anything about what people are going to buy. And then it's art, right? So it does speak to someone.
Absolutely.
And someone comes in and they're like, I have to have that.
That's cool.
So there's a lot of balancing between is it ready and who are we to say?
Yeah, I like that. And I mean, you said this is a simulation. You've created an avenue to business. I mean, these people are creating a business and a brand, and it's very interesting. So tell me about the resources that are provided through Neighborly Ventures for them to do this. They're not just, they're not buying their own equipment in their tiny homes or in their communities, making this stuff. You've actually provided space for them, resources and equipment for them to learn these skills.
You got it. So on the second story of the enterprise building, we have an operational screen printing system, and we have a full-time individual, Yusef is his name, who manages the print shop, and he keeps it buzzing with new designs for the store. And the new designs that come into the store help to create traffic for resident vendors, for them to have a means to be able to have an audience. So the print shop upstairs with the screen printing system is available to them. We also have sewing stations available upstairs. So if their thing is that they want to be able to sew, they have access to those. In our warehouse, we also have a CNC cutting and engraving machine, which is relatively higher end technology. So we're very fortunate to have that. We also have a 3D printer, and we have any and all of the craft materials from clay to jewelry to fibers, textiles, whatever it is they want, we're facilitating it. We're getting the gear in the warehouse. They also have access to all of the woodworking tools.
Nice.
And then some of the vendors are smart about what they're using for material, and
Okay.
they will source offcuts from neighborly homes
Okay.
warehouse to make their things.
Right.
So you mentioned Susan from
Yes.
Suddenly Susan Creations. That's
Yes.
very much her. She
Awesome.
likes to be able to take on the challenge of, we have these ends over and
Mm,
over. What can I do with those?
r-
And she'll come up with product ideas that she can
nice.
execute with
I
the ends.
I own one of the tiny homes that she's
Yes.
created. I love those, the
Yes.
keychains. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. We are literally trying to keep our eyes and ears open as to what they're interested in. For example, recently we found out that they're interested in pottery. So
Hmm.
we're thinking about maybe we get a pottery wheel and bring
Yeah.
people in and do some skill building workshops with them.
Very cool. And one of the things that I've heard just in being in the store and experiencing it, meeting some of the creators, is sometimes a creator has a vision and an idea and they can see the path to fulfill it, but yet they're accessing other people. There's collaboration.
You got
Hey,
it.
hey, I don't know how to use the CNC machine as well. So one person helps them do that piece of the puzzle to accomplish. And it's like, oh man, like it's very much realistic in the business world where you have to find your sources for things
Mhm.
and sourcing materials or products or skills, and they're learning those same processes.
That's something that I hadn't anticipated.
Mm,
As a matter of fact, we had a team meeting with all of the vendors. The entrepreneurial pathway, which is what
right.
we're talking about now, we'll come back to the employment and
Yeah.
education piece. The entrepreneurs, we had a team meeting with them last Friday, and we filled the store. It was really a very good feeling
Yeah.
to have them all together. But what we hadn't anticipated was the sense of community
Mm,
and the sense of support to
right.
one another. And how that was the first time we had gathered them all together
Very
like
cool.
that. And the collaboration
Mm,
happened just naturally, which I
okay.
think is a testament to the community mindedness that they
Right.
have here, because they do support each other. I've heard the conversations where they'll say, well, I have rice and I have
Mm,
ground chicken, and then they'll pool their resources
cool.
and support each other.
Oh,
And
that's
that's
awesome.
happening here
Yeah.
organically, where there's a vendor who is just really good at woodworking. He
Mm,
has the resources and the time and the
right.
interest to help them with
Nice.
their woodworking tasks, mostly
Yeah.
cutting, sanding, prepping material.
Right.
And it just collaboratively happened
Mm,
organically, where he said, well, I can do that for you. And
yeah.
then they said, okay, well, if I do that, then I'll do this for you. So
Yes.
that has become a really big piece of it, so much so that we've expanded it to implement a mentorship program,
Okay.
so that in the fall, we'll be doing weekly skill building workshops. And those
Amazing.
workshops are going to be led by our resident mentors.
Because it's like, there's something you had talked about the process of being able to create something and see it have value to someone else gives you value. But to be able to have a skill that you're contributing to somebody else's value is just as important, that reciprocal nature of giving and receiving. So I do love that you've created that. Now, at the beginning of the conversation, you had said, this kind of program, Neighbourly Ventures, is to give value to the community members, but also to students across Fredericton. Tell me about this. I don't know if I've heard this part of the program yet.
So we've been very fortunate to have been given a generous donation from an organization that has a heart for youth, and youth who have barriers
Mhm.
that prevent them from being able to be who they want to be. So that donation extends beyond our community, because we do have some youth here, but a lot of our population are not youth. And we all know that there is a significant population in Fredericton. Youth
Mhm.
do need this kind of guidance and support.
Yeah.
So we've tapped into resources through Youth in Transition, John Howard Society, and
Mm.
some just privately that we've heard about of youth who have been struggling. And so we provide the same resources
Mm.
to those youth as we do our residents.
That's awesome.
They have a dream to go to school and become a police officer.
Mm.
Then we'll support them with a development plan in getting to that place. If they
Okay.
want to work here, they can go through our discovery program, which is basically a trial run of
Nice.
working here. And you do that consistently for a period of time, and then we
Mm.
slide you right into a more
Nice.
casual full-time role.
Okay.
So we open our community up to any Fredericton youth that are struggling to find a way to make a living or go to school.
That's incredible.
Yes.
I love that.
Me too.
Yeah, that is, I mean, I didn't know that before. So that is such a cool thing to know how really, and it's such a practical thing, right? Like the community members coming together, like there's something about working with your hands with other people, shoulder to shoulder, and the transformation that can happen within somebody in that environment. So tell us a little bit about the education and kind of the job side of that. As you said, it sounds like even if it's not creating something and selling it in the store, even if it's not a job on site as a baker or a barista or in the shop, that you're helping people develop a pathway to get to where they want to.
So everyone that enters Neighbourly Ventures program has particular pillars, we call them, that we work on. And they are like the wheel of life, where a counselor would take you through a program where you identify where you feel you are in each of those areas of your life, your finances, your relationships, your work, all of those things. So we've identified what we feel those 7 pillars are for someone to be ready to work or to go to school.
Right.
So based on those pillars, we meet with our residents or our participants every 2 weeks. And we assess alongside them how they feel they're doing in each of those areas.
Nice.
And we, along with who they may have as a supervisor, do that same assessment. And then once those match, we let them advance. So when they get to a point where they have the awareness that matches what an employer is going to say their capabilities are, they're good to go.
Very cool.
Then we endorse them outside of the community.
Amazing.
So once we have a sense for their work ethic and that they're, on track, then we can support them in finding ways to earn or learn outside of 12 Neighbors.
Nice.
So while they're in that growing phase and getting to that place, we provide a curriculum that will allow them to do that.
Okay.
So when you first sign on, you are working on soft skills. So we're checking, are you showing up on time? Are you showing up at all? Are you staying engaged? Are you faking it? Are you really into it?
Right.
Because we're not looking to correct if you're being quote unquote bad. What we're looking for is it the right fit? Because that's who I am. I'm the person who says, you find what makes you tick and all of the other things in your life will fall into place as they should. When you're not in that sweet spot, you're fighting against areas of your life. So I take very serious the challenge of trying to help them figure out what that is and then simulate it as best I can here. So if you can't people, then let's not put you in the cafe. If you smile bigger when you're, running a shovel, the deeper and harder the load is, the more you smile, then I'm putting you on grounds and maintenance, If you don't like being outside, but you like to be doing heavy manual work, then let's find something heavy manual inside. That's really what we're trying to do, is help people see the correlation between I'm in my element and I can earn, because it's more than just put them to work.
No, exactly.
It's put them to work doing something that they will stick to.
Yes.
And you're only going to stick to it if you really like it. So while they're starting the journey with us at Neighbourly Ventures, that's what we're working on. Self-awareness, refinement of understanding who you are.
Yeah.
Once we get there, then we find you a spot either working or making.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's incredible. I think there's a lesson in that for everyone listening, that, it's not just about doing something that pays the rent or getting a paycheck or gets you your 2 vacations a year. There is something about evaluating what are the skills that you have that you enjoy doing, even if it's something that you're not great at. So that's the thing. Because you're good at something, but you don't enjoy it, doesn't mean you should be doing that.
Yes.
But maybe there's something you enjoy that's a skill you can continue to build.
Yes.
And it can be something that you do and use to, provide for yourself. And
exactly.
There's something more empowering about that.
And for
when you feel fulfilled, right?
For the people listening who are more practical, I do also want to say that this is an opportunity for people to do that. In the quote unquote real world, it's really difficult with, bills continually coming in to say I'm walking away from this job because this girl on the radio said that I should. But when you're in a situation like our residents and
Mm.
our youth who are facing all these barriers, they need this extra
Right.
in order for them to be able to get to a place where they can feel confident that they've got the stamina to keep
Right.
going. This is my job, is
Right.
to help them figure out what it is that's going to keep them going.
Mm.
And they're in a place where it's safe to do that. They
Yes.
don't have the same financial obligations that you and I have, right? Because
Right.
they're stripped down, but now they're building again. So now is an opportunity where they can safely embark on what it is that makes them
Right.
flow.
Right. Awesome. Well, for all of us listening and those of us in the community, what are the ways we can do to support what you're doing in this program?
Yeah. So we are just, as I mentioned, I'm still very, very new. So
Oh.
we're just getting that in place now. We are also in a situation where we're running on seed funding. So the money will only go for so long. And then in order for us to be able to keep doing this, we need money.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
that's just the reality. So folks can go to 12neighbors.com.
Okay.
And there is a donate button on the very top right-hand corner of the website. You click that button and it'll redirect you to a page where you can fill out what you want your donation to be used for at 12 Neighbors. And one of those selections is Neighbourly Ventures or Path to Independence.
Okay. Awesome. I think there's so many people that would love to contribute to this because of the output of the program, right?
Yeah.
It's just these people who have found a piece of themselves that maybe they had to rediscover or maybe they never knew about, who can go out into the world and use that to bless the community.
Yeah, I'd like to share a couple stories
Yes,
if I could.
please do.
There's a couple that I think are really on my heart that I would love for people to be able to hear. I know a number of people have heard about our first vendor. Her name is Amelia, and she has a business called Pixie Joy Creations, and she makes mostly jewelry. And she's also a visual artist, so she
Okay.
draws as well and makes hand-drawn creations that she's created on her own. They're not something she's replicating. They're coming
Right.
from her own mind. She's
Awesome.
super talented. When Amelia first came to 12 Neighbors, she had tremendous anxiety, so much so that she literally could not leave her house. And then Marcel worked very patiently and very kindly with her and eventually was able to encourage her to come up to the Enterprise building where he lured her with art supplies. And she started creating. And she taught us something. And that is that we thought that our residents would go on a predictable pathway of housing first, developmental support is if they have addictions or mental health, who doesn't, then we, help them at that stage. But housing, development, and then earning to work.
Right.
But we learned from Amelia that sometimes it doesn't go in that flow. Amelia really wasn't settled in her home until she got the means to create.
Right. Okay.
And that's the transformation of what we're doing. We are making a pathway for them to do something purposeful. By her coming here and creating, she received therapy she didn't even know she was getting.
Okay.
And then she was able to get her feet under her for stable housing and her development in terms of support from mental health and addictions.
Amazing.
And then now she's thriving. She comes in here. She works 3 days a week in here. People come in. She's very soft-spoken, but she's not shy to approach you, to share her story. She's grown tremendously. There's another resident who I was given by Marcel to support because they were recycling for us on their own will. So Marcel saw that as an opportunity to set this resident up with a formal way to manage the community's recycling. In doing that, it left this resident with the means to be able to do woodworking in this same facility where he was sorting and storing his recyclables.
Awesome.
When Marcel gave me this individual, he expressed that it could be a little bit more difficult to work with this person because they to do things on their own terms. So I was a little bit nervous to give a little bit of direction this one day, but I did. And so I asked this person if they would cut something out in prep for another resident to make something similar to what we were talking about earlier. He said, sure, no problem. He came back, but it wasn't exactly where we needed it to be. So I sent it back. And I was sharing with Marcel the story, and he said, you'll never see him again. Jokingly, I think,
Right.
but kind of half not.
Yeah.
Because we all thought he wouldn't take this direction well. He did. He came back a second time, still needed a little bit more perfecting.
Yep.
I sent him away a second time. The third time when he came back, it was bang on.
Okay.
Then he signed on as a vendor in my store.
Amazing.
Wanted to make things.
Right. Okay.
So it went from someone who I was a little bit nervous to work with
Right.
to a person that comes in almost daily. How are you doing today, Mindy? Is there anything I can help you with? He's shaved, he's clean, he's confident.
Right.
Whereas before, you were almost a little hesitant to even approach him.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
softened, he's gained confidence.
That's so
He's
cool.
selling things.
Right.
It's the best.
It's interesting. There's always this story, like this picture of like, sometimes it takes a hammer and a chisel to get to what you're supposed to be, right? And it feels, it hurts, but in the same way it's refining and you're growing. And sometimes people need that, right?
This is it.
They have layers built up around them that they protect themselves for so long that they maybe don't even quite know who they are or who they're supposed to be anymore.
Exactly.
So as you help chip away some of those layers, and even in feedback and constructive criticism, that they're actually maybe becoming a little bit inspired as they start to find themselves again.
Right. Love that. That's
So good.
True.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So there's another resident that I mentioned. I was kind of half joking and said the harder he shovels, the more he smiles.
Right.
Literally, that's the case.
Okay.
So
That's
it
awesome.
just is a testament to how person-centric things are here.
Yeah.
And that is the difference between what we're doing and what existing programs do.
Right.
Where, especially if it's a government program, you're really operating within the confines of, what's been determined by a group of people.
Right.
Whereas here, we can be very individual.
Yes.
And we can pivot,
That's
and that's so important here to be very flexible.
Yeah.
So that what may have worked before is not now going to work for this person because they've grown or, this other trigger has happened.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of extra care paid to each resident and how they need to be cared for.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And I do want to remind people that Neighbourly Ventures is here featured inside of Neighbourly Cafe, inside of the Enterprise Center, at the entry to 12 Neighbors community. It's an incredible place to come visit. The cafe has amazing food and snacks and desserts and like Red Seal dessert chefs. Like, it's crazy. And the store is always changing. So you literally have to come in every week to see the new products. So I do encourage people to do that, or to go on to 12neighbors.com and to see, to interact, engage, and to donate if they want to support this work. So thank you for what you do and the impact you have in our community.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.